Hope here from Indy Theater Habit. I'm at the 2009 Indy Fringe, and I just saw one of my favorite shows of the Fringe. And I'm talking with the director. Please tell everybody your name.
My name's Stephen Pierce.
And tell me how you found this play. Waiting for Monsieur Godot. How do you pronounce it?
Waiting on Monsieur Godot.
Okay.
It was written by Ronn Johnstone. He actually was my theater instructor when I went to Anderson University. He gave me the script in 2004, I want to say, as kind of a student project. I'd like to see this on stage, play with it. I played with it, put it up, for a 20-minute shoestring thing just to kind of see how it looked on stage. I fell in love with it. Everybody who saw it fell in love with it. He called me and said, "Hey, I want to put a show into the Fringe with my company. What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I am free, and I want to do the show that you wrote, 5 years ago. I know it's been shelved and nobody's done it yet." And he said, "Let's do it." So he gave me the financial backing, and we held rehearsals on the back porch of my house because we couldn't afford a rehearsal space, and put this wonderful thing together while my neighbor's dogs were barking and the rain was pouring.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It was great to see it come together so well polished.
I'm so sorry that tonight is the last night. How have audience responses been earlier in the Fringe?
Amazing. Our first night we had 24 in the house. The second night we had 42, and the third night we sold out.
And tonight was a sellout too, wasn't it? And people leapt to their feet at the end. I mean,
they did. It's our standing ovation. It's a great way to end the show. This isn't the last of it. I'm sure we'll probably be putting it up in a couple of different places. Maybe find a way to get into a full-length style show. I'm not sure yet, but
you had mentioned earlier before I asked if I could videotape you about making an evening of restaurant stories or something like that.
I would love to make a show that's an evening of restaurant stories. I think some of the most honest things that happen are at a table at a restaurant. And I would love to get a couple more, 2 or 3 more scripts that are 15 to 30 minutes at a restaurant and put them together into an evening out, maybe buy a restaurant for the night and sort of have a real dinner show, if you understand, a good old-fashioned meal that you can kind of enjoy some really quality theater at the same time.
Do you have anything else you want to tell people about this show? Or
Not particularly. I mean, I couldn't have done it without the most amazing cast I've ever worked with.
How did you find Kurt and... I can't remember. Adrian told me everybody's names. Please say the actors.
Nick Foreman is working in Chicago currently.
Okay.
I was studying at the Improv Olympic until the end of this year, and lived with Nick for a while. And I asked him to move in with me for the month while we did this show, and he agreed amazingly for $100. He moved in, left his job for a month, and came here to do the show.
Oh my goodness.
Lisa is a recent graduate of Anderson.
What's Lisa's last name?
Ermel.
Lisa Ermel, okay.
Yeah, and she's done a ton of shows, Summer Sock, done a little bit of work downtown, and I saw her in a show called Living Out and said, I've got to have her. So we cast her, and then myself, Christian McKinney, Ronn Johnstone, a couple other people sent Kurt email blitzes and said we want you for the show. He agreed to meet with us for lunch, and I pitched him on what I wanted to do, and Ron was there with me, the writer. And I guess when the writer and the director of a show come after you, how can you say no? So he agreed to throw himself into the project, and from that moment on, I think it was magic in the making.
One of my favorite lines is early on, the waiter, Kurt, says, "Let yourself be made by love," or something like that. I mean, how would you describe this play to somebody else? It's about love, and
it is. I think the beauty of it is it was written for a younger audience to explain to them that love is something that is imperfect, and that's what we should love about the other person. And it's funny that people who seem to love the show the most are people in their late 30s and 40s who may be on their second marriage. Because maybe they finally understand that perfection is something that's unattainable, and it's the imperfection in the other person that makes us truly fall in love with them. I think that's what this show is showing. It's to bring that out and let us know that, if we're looking for the perfect, we'll never be happy. But when we rejoice in the things that make somebody a little quirky or a little different, we'll really understand what love is.
Yeah. Well, thanks very much for your time.
No problem.
And thanks for a wonderful show.
No problem.
Bye.
All right, thanks.